1979 from 20 to 80 milligrams for 10 to 20 years, down to 10 to 25 milligrams or more for the same length of time. But although the United States Public Health Service listed Hodge 79 as one of the references for the 1991 review, they either chose to ignore it or used an abstract without ever looking at the original. If the American Dental and Medical Associations, EPA, World Health Organization, National Academy of Sciences, your physician and dentist and city councilmen or county commissioners have all been deceived regarding the amount of fluoride it takes to produce signs of chronic toxicity, the earlier arthritic stages of the disease, as well as the crippling end stage, then their belief in the safety of water fluoridation is based on a misunderstanding. Fluoridation was meant to provide a supplement to bring the daily dose up to about 1 milligram a day. By the early 1970s, people were getting 5 times that amount. Sane people don't supplement an overdose. The symptoms of chronic fluoride poisoning are experienced by all who live long enough, wherever they live. This has always been true because fluoride is one of the most plentiful of the Earth's elements. According to the Arthritis Foundation, 97% of us complain of the symptoms of phase 1 and 2 skeletal fluorosis by retirement age. However, no effort has ever been made in this country to determine how many cases of arthritis are actually caused by excess fluoride. Fluorosis is not even a reportable disease. And when physicians suspect a fluoride-polluting industry is the cause of whole towns complaining of arthritis, they risk ridicule or even loss of their license for voicing an opinion. College professors fail to attain tenure, researchers lose grant opportunities, editors are fired, brilliant biochemists, medical doctors, and even dentists have been liable for daring to question the wisdom of water fluoridation. It's no wonder so many people are operating with blinders. The U.S. Postal Service is now considering a commemorative stamp to celebrate 50 years of water fluoridation. In a letter dated November 24, 1992, Carol Patton, RN, spoke to the issue with her usual eloquence. Let me read it for you. This is addressed to the Citizen Stamp Advisory Committee in Washington, D.C. Dear Mr. Rosenthal, recent scientific evidence is fast proving that fluoridation is causing serious health risks in terms of increased fracture rates, cancer, and other adverse effects. In addition, a national survey by the U.S. National Institute of Dental Research and corroborative studies from other countries show tooth decay rates unrelated to fluoridation. Please recognize fluoride for what it is, a major industrial pollutant of which 655,000 tons annually are dumped and spewed into our water and air. Industry is getting away with murder under the guise of a public health program. Dr. William Marcus, a high-ranking EPA scientist, was recently fired for having the courage to whistleblow the scientific fraud operating in this contentious and political issue. In light of this, a commemorative stamp for fluoridation is not only inappropriate but highly deceptive. Surely you must agree. Sincerely. I believe, based on mountains of scientific evidence, that fluoride is one of the most toxic substances known to man, that it interferes with the normal production and mineralization of collagen, lowers our ability to deal with disease-causing bacteria and viruses, causes allergic and hypersensitivity reactions, as well as gastrointestinal problems, headache, and chronic fatigue, and a reduced ability to recognize and repair the genetic damage which leads to cancer. I do not know if zero dietary fluoride would lead to an increased incidence of dental decay, but if it did, it would be impossible to achieve anyway, because we can't eat, drink, or even breathe without getting more than our true need for this substance. No one should be required to be exposed to more than 1/2 part per million fluoride in his drinking water, regardless of income or ability or even desire to purchase expensive alternates. The real tragedy, of course, is that we've allowed the same expediency that permitted fluoridation to enter into all phases of medical science. We've allowed a massive suppression of information, which delays our success in treating or preventing many, if not all, forms of chronic disease, because politics has taken a stranglehold on scientific advance. Our government regulatory agencies, EPA, Food and Drug, Public Health, etc., have all played the role of a fox guarding the chickens. And this little chicken has had about enough of it. I hope you've enjoyed listening to this tape. Perhaps you've learned something. If you can, I hope you'll make a copy and share it with others. Thanks for listening.
Well, there you have it, folks. Darlene Sherrell and the results of many years of her own research. You know, she gave you all the particular references. She told you where she found the information. She named the specific reports and the people and the government agencies that she dealt with. I don't want you to believe what you heard here. I want you to get off your butts and go out and find this information again yourself. Confirm it. And it shouldn't take you years, because she just gave it all to you right now. When she started, she didn't know anything about where she was going or where to get it or even what it was. So there's no excuse if you don't do it. If you're living in an area where your water is fluoridated, you must do this for your own health and for the health of your children and their children to come. Now, if you don't, and you all die horrible, crippled deaths, and if you all suffer from what they call the Wilkes-Barre syndrome, the chronic fatigue, which you just heard is caused by fluoridation, then I don't want to hear one single whimper out of any of you at all. I don't want to hear you whimper. I don't want to hear you cry. Go do it for your sake, for the sake of your children, for the sake of the nation. I wonder, what in the world would they want to do this for? Why did it start around 1930? Well, folks, if you do the research like I've done, you'll find that Stalin used fluoridation in the water supply of the Gulag archipelago to pacify the millions of prisoners in the labor camps. You see, it makes you tired. It gives you malaise. It makes you so you don't care about anything else. It cripples your teeth and the skeletal structure of the body over a period of years. And people who are so affected are no threat to the power structure or to the elite or the prison guards or anybody else. They're just thankful to get from one day to the next. And that's exactly the way many of you out there have been feeling for years, who live in areas where your water is fluoridated, and you're just tired all the time. You don't care about anything, you're depressed, and you don't know why. Well, folks, this isn't the only reason, but it's one of them. And if you don't believe it, like I said, get out there, dig out the information, find it for yourself. You're going to find that they have intentionally falsified the data. When you go back to the references that they give and the reports that they give to committees and cities and states and government agencies that are considering fluoridation of water or whether or not to fluoridate water, you'll find that in the reports they give to these committees, the data has been falsified. If you go to the references where they supposedly got the data, you'll find that the real data is much different from what's listed in these brochures and reports on fluoridation. Now, folks, let me say this one more time. We have not been invaded by the evil empire or some foreign country or any army. What is destroying America is stupid Americans. You see, folks, if you have a good business and you hire a bunch of people to take care of that business, and you come every day and you supervise them and you watch, and you do the books, if you're a good business person, you're going to have a good business. But you try going on vacation permanently, don't come back and check anything, Don't call. Don't find out what's going on. Don't check anything that anyone tells you. When you come back, folks, you not only won't have a business, there won't be any stock on the shelves, there won't be a cash register. Chances are the building will be gone, the parking lot will have been dug up, and there'll be something entirely different there, owned by someone else who doesn't know anything about you whatsoever. And that's exactly what's happening in our government. You see, when the cat's away, the mice will play. We know that there are people in this world who want to take it all away from us. So why do we let them? When you leave a power vacuum, someone will step in and fill it. If you leave your wallet exposed on a countertop somewhere, someone will take it. If you're lucky, they'll be honest. But 99 times out of 100, they will not be honest, and you'll never see your wallet again. Americans, for the most part, are stupid. They are sheeple. And our country is being taken away from us right under our very noses because we are stupid and because we are sheeple. The purpose of this program, folks, is to wake you up. I don't want you to believe anything that you hear on this program or on any other program or that you read in any book or newspaper. What I want to do is stimulate you to begin to look for the truth yourself, to begin to investigate yourself, to not accept what you're told unless you can find that it's true yourself, or that it's false yourself. There was another sheeple last week who called in on the Tom Valentine show on Monday or Tuesday night, I forget which, who wanted Tom Valentine to tell him whether or not it was true that the United Nations didn't take over this country because there's 30,000 United Nations troops in this country. And he cited that he had heard it on the program that follows Tom Valentine, which is my program. Not only is this a person a sheeple who cannot listen and investigate and determine the truth for himself, but he misquoted this show, because never in the history of this show have I ever said that there was any United Nations troops in this country, period. I did say that George Bush gave a speech to the United Nations offering Fort Dix for the training of United Nations troops. So not only was this person a sheeple, but he's doubly stupid. He can't even quote where he heard the information. And I'm telling you now, he didn't hear it here. This show is for intelligent, free-thinking people and no one else. If you don't fit that bill, don't listen to this show ever. Till tomorrow night, folks, and tomorrow night's a doozy, good night. And God bless each and every one of you.